Good evening, everyone. My name is Adish Khandi. I am from CS5 division. My roll number is 08 and my PRN number is 90. So, today my topic of discussion for my EDS assignment is nested for loops, and I am going to be explaining this by using an example. So, let's get started. Before we get started, let's first understand what is a for loop. A for loop is a type of loop which is used to execute a block of code multiple times by holding it against a counter. So it saves us a lot of time and a lot of lines of code because we are essentially using the same block of code and running it multiple times until we get the desired output. Then the syntax for loop is for in at least in Python it is for the name of the variable in and the sequence in which the code we want to run, and the indentation in Python language is mandatory at all times. So let's get started towards nested for loops. A nested for loop means a for loop inside of a for loop. So this is particularly handy when we have to print certain lines of code which requires us to access rows and columns simultaneously, like 2D patterns like printing grades, star patterns, and matrix operations. The syntax for it is the same for the first variable in range of the outer limit which we want to pursue, and then for j in range inner limit which we want to pursue. So let's start by understanding my example. So here we have rows we have defined as 5. Here we can define the rows we want, or we can get the input from the user. It doesn't matter anyway. So now what happens here is for loop is used on a variable I in from range 1 to 5 plus 1. 5 plus 1 is because 5 plus 1 is 6, and in for loop the range 1 is inclusive and the last range which is 6 is exclusive. So the code will run from 1 to 5 only, so that's why we are adding plus 1. And then in the second loop we are declaring for variable for in j for range I. For that means for whatever value of I, the j variable will continue to loop itself till it reaches the value of I, and then we will print the value star, and there will be no line. There will then it will print on next line. So let's try to run this program, and here we can see that there are 5 rows of star, each with each having a added a number of stars in there, and we can add how many however as we want. So let's add like 7, and then once we enter 7, let's run this, and here we can have a 7 block of code. And this is how we can use for loop to identify and use it to manipulate grid system or 2D systems.